Hello mortals, I'm the booktube goddess, the #1 drag queen booktuber on YouTube! And it is time for another game of Shelve It or Shove It. The game where I pick books for my TBR based solely on their cover. And like before, I'm just going to pick one book for my TBR just because I don't want my TBR to get too long, and it's getting too long. So I am looking at the Goodreads new releases for March to add to my April TBR. And we are going to start, as usual, with young adult. First up is Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. The Last Hours Book 2. Okay, I haven't read book 1, but I just want to say this cover is gorgeous. I love the figure of the woman from the back angle with the hair and the color, the gold and the blue background. And I guess these are bees? No, they're moths. And she has these moths around her. Gorgeous cover. It's a Shadowhunters novel. I've only read 3 Shadowhunters. So because I'm not caught up on this series, I guess I'm going to have to shove it. Next up is Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. So, I don't like this cover all that much. It looks like some type of relief with, I guess it's kind of cool. There's like, it looks like an ivory cutout with a dragon in one corner, eagle, and there's a tree, and there's a wolf and a fox at the bottom. I don't know about this cover. I have read Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, and I like that duology with Crooked Kingdom. If I was going to read Leigh Bardugo, I think I would want to read Shadow and Bone because it's coming out in Netflix as a series this month, I believe. But for this book, I think I'm going to have to shove it. Next up is Namesake by Adrienne Young. Trader, Trader, not traitor, Trader, Fighter, Legend. I don't know about this. Could be a fantasy, I'm assuming. It has a artistic face of a woman, or partial face of the woman. Actually, I like that style of artwork, but I'm not at all sure of the genre. It's really leaving me guessing. I think I'm going to have to shove it. Next up is Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley. Boulley? And there's more text on it. Keep the secret, live the lie, earn your truth. And it's a very colorful cover, and it has one of those pictures that if you look at it one way, it looks like there's 2 women facing each other. And looking at it another way, it looks like a butterfly. I like this cover. It's very graphic, very unique. Firekeeper's Daughter, assume it's a fantasy. Let's go ahead and shelve Firekeeper's Daughter. Next up, Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. Okay, this looks like a murder mystery thriller, maybe. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to shove it. Okay, I'm going to skip the children's middle grade book again this month. Maybe I'll come back to it next month, but I'm going to step right into science fiction. And first up, oh boy, Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. Now, I have read his previous novel, Never Let Me Go, which was a very, very good novel. The cover on this is kind of ugly, but just by the author's reputation, the winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature, I am going to shelve Clara and the Sun. Okay, next up is going to cause a bit of an issue because I've already started reading it or listening to it as an audiobook. A Desolation Called Peace by Arkady Martine. It's a sequel to A Memory Called Empire. I started A Memory Called Empire because it won the Hugo Award when I did my Hugo video, and I like that a lot as an audiobook, so I picked up the second book, A Desolation Called Peace, as an audio book. So either way, I'm going to have to shelve this because it's already been shelved and I'm already reading it. But I'm not going to count this as part of the game. So I did like A Memory Called Empire. Next up is Skyward End by Aaliyah Whiteley. And it has a little catchphrase. This is a place where we can be alone together. Don't really know much about this. It's a very colorful cover with I guess this is a space scene, worlds colliding. I'm not getting enough about what this book is about just from the cover, and I don't know this author, so I'm going to shove it. Next up is Machine Hood by S.B. Divya, and there is a white robot on the cover with a white background, looks like a white ring light. Is the robot sort of in a meditation pose, maybe? I can only guess this has to do with artificial intelligence. And the cover is, you know what's doing it for me with the cover is the pose of the robot, because otherwise it's kind of generic, but sort of that meditation pose seems kind of interesting. Okay, I'm thinking about it too much. I'm going to go ahead and shelve Machine Hood. I kind of like that white cover, and I really like the pose of the character. Next up is Dead Space by Kaylee Wallace, and I don't know what's going on. There's some type of hex grid, and bursting through it is some planets, dead space. I don't know enough about this one, just based on the cover, so I am going to shove it. Now we move on to fantasy, and first up is The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. And I do like this cover, even though it seems like it's missing some type of catchphrase or recommendation. I don't know why it looks plain, but I like the artwork on it. It looks like someone coming through some doors, warrior, person of color. There's a banner behind her. I do like this artwork, but boy, this cover is just so plain. It's confusing me. You know what? Let's go ahead and shelve it just based on the artwork. Next up is The Ladies of the Secret Circus. Secret Circus, not Secret Service, Secret Circus, by Constance Sayers. And there is a woman acrobat and the Eiffel Tower. So I guess this is contemporary fantasy or maybe historical fantasy. One of the two. I'm not feeling it. I'm going to have to shove it. Next up is The Bone Maker by Sarah Beth Durst. And there is a bunch of bones and a skull. Book about necromancy. Yeah, I think it looks like a pretty generic fantasy, so I'm going to shove it. Next up is The Conductors by Nicole Glover, and I don't know what to think about this. There is a black woman dressed in sort of, I don't know, antebellum costume with a lantern, so I'm getting Underground Railroad, but I don't know if I'm reading too much into it. This is one where I really want to read the blurb just to see if this is a Civil War historical fantasy, but Boy, the cover is just giving me so many questions. Yeah, I'm gonna have to shove it. And finally, Creatures of Passage by Morowa Yajide. Messing up the name, I know it. Morowa Yajide? Anyway, it looks interesting. I like the car with some splashes of color that's reflected in the water, going along in this fog and this, I guess, lake. So I'm kind of hoping this is a horror, because I have been in kind of a mood to read a horror and I don't know what to pick up. If you know good horror, let me know in the comments what I should read. But I'm going to assume this is a contemporary horror. I'm going to shove it. It's feeling a little generic and I don't really know what I would be getting into. And I didn't have a very good experience getting a young adult book, which I thought was a horror, but turned out not to be. Oh, I almost forgot. There's another fantasy book out. It's a Chuck Tingle book, Trans Wizard Harriet Porber and the Bad Boy Parasaurolophus. Okay, this looks like an interesting book, and this is from the two-time Hugo Award finalist, Chuck Tingle. And if you know him, he wrote Space Raptor Butt Invasion, which was a finalist for a Hugo Award several years ago. So this cover, I guess he's delving into fantasy now. The Bad Boy Parasaurolophus, or Bad Boy Dinosaur, is the guy in green behind, I guess, Harriet Porber, the trans wizard at the front. And it looks like there's a mastodon with a wizard hat on and a motorcycle with a woman's head on it. So, I don't think I'm in the mood for this type of fantasy. If you are, let me know in the comments below. But for now, yeah, I'm gonna have to shove it. Okay, the books I picked up is one young adult, The Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley, and I picked up two science fiction, Claire and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro, and Machine Hood by S.B. Devia. And don't forget, I'm already shelved and I'm already reading A Desolation Cold Peace by Arcady Martin. And I picked up one fantasy, The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. Now, the question is, of these books, which one am I going to actually add to my TBR to read? I am going to say no to the young adult. I've done a lot of young adult recently. Of these three books, I think I'm going to go with Kazuo Ishiguro's Clara and the Sun. Again, this book I'm just picking based on the author, because the cover isn't that great, but it's also a book written by an Asian man, and in these times it's nice to have a little Asian representation. And I know he's a very intense writer. I've only read one of his books, and they're very high concept and they make you think a lot. So I am kind of curious about Claire and the Sun. Okay, let's go ahead and read what Claire and the Sun is actually about. Let's see what I've gotten myself into. Claire and the Sun, the first novel by Kazuo Ishiguro since he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature, tells the story of Clara, an artificial friend with outstanding observational qualities who, from her place in the store, watches carefully the behavior of those who come in to browse and of those who pass on the street outside. She remains hopeful that a customer will soon choose her. Clara in the Sun is a thrilling book that offers a look at our changing world through the eyes of an unforgettable narrator, and one that explores the fundamental question, what does it mean to love? So yeah, like I thought, this is going to be high concept, artificial intelligence, which wasn't explored in his previous books. So I'm really interested in how it will play out here. Oh boy. So let me know in the comments which book you would have chosen just based on the cover. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. I'll have affiliate links below to some of the books mentioned. And until we meet again, may all the books you read be blessed.